Hello, everybody. It's James. I have another CEO Jimbo for you. This one again is on Malaysia Airlines Flight 370, Boeing 777 that disappeared about 10 years ago on a flight from Kuala Lumpur, Malaysia to Beijing, China. Anyway, I'm working on section 1 of my book, Witnesses. I've been making these videos every 2 weeks and reporting on what I have been working on. I've been kind of spending about 2 weeks per section in a rotation. Section 1 is Witnesses. I just finished spending the last 2 weeks on witnesses, and so that's what the subject is tonight, and so on. This is section 1 of 4. Witnesses are kind of an odd one. I've watched so many videos on this, and it seems like there are so many people that just completely leave the witnesses out. Maybe they've never even heard of the possibility of anybody having seen this, firsthand while it was happening. I think there's people that kind of like say somehow this is like all bogus, and they're just this couldn't be true. They were seeing something else, some other plane or other planes or whatnot. Anyway, here's what I have. I've been making up these lists about every time. I just got finished writing this one, and this is kind of what the topic is tonight. Sometimes I kind of just go by memory, just kind of thinking about what the highlights were. And this time I kind of went through my book here and worked on kind of the areas that I kind of either found interesting or that I just worked on this time, and so on. It was kind of a combination of both, where it was kind of both I worked on it and I found interesting, and so on. There's 4 chapters in this section. All 4 sections have 4 chapters each. Chapter 1 is on basically the Gulf of Thailand area to the Maldives. And then the Maldives, I think it's actually Maldives. I watched a video and somebody was referring to it, I think, as the Maldives, or maybe I've been saying it wrong all these times. And then Strait of Malacca, Fisherman, chapter 3, and Lady Passenger. I actually spent almost the entire 2 weeks on chapter 1 and 2 this time, so you won't be hearing too much about chapter 3 and chapter 4. I actually just got to chapter 3 today, and I worked on that a little bit. But anyway, here's this. I don't know why it's showing me again. It's almost midnight here, and wanting to kind of finish up, but try to get you a good video too. So anyway, Kota Baru, forgive me if I'm not pronouncing that right, is I made this map a long time ago, and I didn't really even change it, but this is Kuala Lumpur, where the airplane took off, right here. This is the South China Sea. It was supposed to go up this way, across the South China Sea. This is like Vietnam right here. It was supposed to kind of cross over Vietnam and end up in China, which isn't even on the map here, but like up here somewhere. It disappeared like right here. It just took off, came up here, and lost radio contact and also radar contact, and so on. The first witness was right at Kota Baru. There was a fishing boat that had kind of like 2 friends that were leading this boat, and I think it was 7 people, 6 people, 6 others on the tuna boat. So it was like this Ibrahim, as is Ibrahim. I think it was his boat. He was really the leader, and he had his friend with him, Mamat, is his last name, and then 6 other people all fishing for tuna, like a commercial fishing boat, and they were 10 miles out. So, like here, 10 miles out in this area, it's roughly about the same area where the plane lost radio contact. And he said that he saw the plane flying low in this area, and so on. I know him sort of as Coconut Guy. He's the guy that said that Ibrahim, the fellow that said that it was so low that the windows looked like they were the size of coconuts. I had a little on that, but I won't get into that too much. That's about it on that. The oil slick, there was kind of a report that like right after the plane went missing and they started searching it, they searched like this area first from the air. Somebody saw that there were 2 oil slicks that they thought were about the right size of, it could have been, the fuel of the 777. They thought that whatever that is, that amount was maybe about the same amount that was on the water there. And there was like a life raft that was found upside down in that area too, and so on. And then actually, when I first started this, one of the first things I did in the beginning of my 2 weeks is I just started going through this, trying to find work that needed to be done. And one of the first things that I came across was I had a thing on a part that had barnacles on it that was found in the Sea of Thailand. Right in like this, actually, I looked at it and there was like a map and it was like right around where my finger is here. So it was like right in this general area where the plane went missing. So on. But what I did is I actually took it out of this section because it caught my attention because this section is on witnesses, not parts. And so I took it out and I put it in my parts section, section 2. But anyway, there's a lot that have kind of went on in the South China Sea. I just got finished watching a video that I think I'd watched before of a fellow, a airline pilot that flies for Air Canada, that was basically saying that he kind of thinks that probably the plane crashed right in this area because usually what happens is the whole world gets excited about all of the possibilities and just has a field day with it. He's thinking that probably something kind of mundane happened to it, like it caught on fire and just kind of burned up and crashed into the ocean here, and that's that. And the problem is, and I didn't mean to be on parts, but parts were found kind of down near Africa, and it's not like a smooth channel to, if parts were here to to flow down to Africa, and so on. But anyway, there was oil slick. There's this guy Hecking, who is an airline pilot that's lives in Indiana, United States, that seems to have information that the plane, it's kind of like extremely well known that the last contact that the flight crew said was to Malaysia Air Traffic Control, I guess it was, saying, Malaysia, good night. But this guy kind of puts forth that there's kind of like a additional that's actually not the last transmission. The last transmission was a little farther up here, where it was so something to the effect of the airplane is disintegrating landing sot. So there, somebody. This is on witnesses, and somebody would have had to have witnessed that. Maybe it was Ho Chi Minh Air Traffic Control Center or something like that. Was the one that observed this call and was told not to tell anybody that. And, it's maybe classified information or something like that. Anyway, that kind of bears watching. If you want to know more about information, I've kind of been able to look this up by going to type in MH370 and then Indiana pilot, and this hecking will come up, and there's like an article about this. I think he's under the school that the airplane ended up flying on autopilot with a passed out crew and passengers down south into the South China Sea. But he's the only one that I've heard of that says that there was an additional radio statement. And maybe that's a little off topic because it's on communications, but somebody would have had to have witnessed that. I would say probably Ho Chi Minh City Air Traffic Control or something like that. Not with their eyes, but with their ears. Ahmed, this is down to the Maldives. Back to my map here, where these even are here. This is Kuala Lumpur. This is the Bay of Bengal. This is India over here, and just south of India down here, there's these islands called the Maldives. I think I've been calling them the Maldives, but I think somebody was calling them the Maldives. I meant to kind of look these up, but my internet on my cell phone wasn't working almost the whole 2 weeks, where I usually used to kind of look up details and stuff like that. I kind of pulled out my own atlas, and my own atlas doesn't have it very clearly. But anyway, there was 2 groups of witnesses down there. The first group, let's say that, the first group was the second to southmost island, and the second group is the southmost one or something like that. This island is called Kuda Hadahu or whatever, which is very isolated, has very few people on it, very few cars. It did not have a landing strip at the time of this plane disappearing. It currently has a landing strip, but it's not of the caliber of a 777. I think it's big enough for about small commuter airliners and so on. This one, where group 2 was, is Gadahai Fishy Island or whatever, Thai Atoll. I think it has more people on it. It has an airport, I think, big enough for a 777 to land. I told on a previous one that I had kind of a hunch that maybe the plane, that the crew had such a serious control problem that they were trying to maybe land on this island because it had so few people. And the island itself is sort of long and slender, kind of spanning sort of north to south, kind of long and slender, long and west to east is very narrow and so on. And they may have been trying to use the entire island as a landing strip for a plane that was not very controllable or something like that. But I've since learned that I think that there was a landing strip here, because I was telling you that there was like a Saudi Arabian 777 that I thought was maybe kind of trying to land at the capital, Mail, which was like one of these 2 islands up here or something like that. But I think I've since learned that Saudi Arabia 777 was coming in to land at the island of Gadahiffushi or so. So anyway, so the question is, were there two 777s, one that landed safely and the other one that just circled and back, or just one? And then finally, hand flying. There's a whole thing on hand flying on the Maldives. Somebody said that the whole flight of witnesses was like, I mean, there's like evidence like right up here, right when the airplane, said goodbye to Kuala Lumpur Tower or whatever, air traffic control frequency, that the plane turned very steep first to the right and then to the left, and they were saying that that indicated that the plane was probably hand flown and not turned on autopilot and so forth. And then they're saying that the plane kind of went up here and then kind of went way down south to almost, Antarctica and so on and whatnot and so on. But if it came over here to the Maldives instead, there's sort of evidence that it was hand flown down in the Maldives because there's a lady that says that she saw the plane circle 2 or 3 times and so on, which sort of implies that, at least to me, that, if it was on autopilot, it might have taken kind of some input from the pilot to do that too. I don't know what you do. You put in, let's say it's this island here, you have it fly from this island to this island. I don't know. How do you have the autopilot, circle low around the tiny little airport? Anyway, oh yeah, we're at 17 minutes. I've got to kind of sum this up, and I hadn't noticed that my battery's going dead, but I still have quite a bit of juice for this anyway. So I don't know if there's anything to really show you here. There was the oil slick thing. It's kind of meant more to be read than looked at. Eventually we'll kind of make some drawings and stuff, but I guess we'll leave it at that. That's this is the first time I haven't really used my little plane here. I don't know what to do or say with this. Oh, kite. Who was that? The witness. I was just getting into that today. Chapter 3 of this. That there was some fishing boats. There was like 2 different boats that said that they saw that the plane kind of like down low in the water here, and this is like after, so it like made these circles around the Maldives and then came up here, and the witnesses said that, and one of them said that the plane resembled a kite that was crashing or something like that. I've been trying to visualize this. I was watching looking at videos on kite flying, and I just didn't have it in me to kind of like spend time, watching kites to see if I could find the perfect, thing that I have in my mind. But it's like, what does a kite look like that's crashing? I don't know if I can find that. Anyway, more on that later. We've got kind of like coconut guy that says that the windows were the size of coconuts, and we have this other guy that says the plane looked like a kite that had, that had crashed or landed funny or something like that. So what does that look like? I don't know. Kites, like, I mean, they like get dragged, across the ground or something like that. I don't know. I'm trying to figure out his motion. So anyway, more on that. Please stay tuned. Thank you for watching. Please thumbs up, subscribe, tell all your friends, and so on. Have a good day. Thank you. Bye. James out.